What happens when a best-selling legal thriller is resurrected on primetime TV nearly 2 decades after the courtroom doors first slammed shut? The story had legacy, the cast had talent, and the deal was airtight. On paper, it looked like a sure thing. So how did a sequel to one of the most successful legal thrillers of the 90s collapse in plain sight? Let's find out. This is The Failure of the Firm.
Dare ever finds the truth, everyone in this room is going to prison.
I found something, I'm not sure what. A woman is dead. I want to know the truth.
Before The Firm became a television sequel, it was a best-selling novel and a major box office hit. The 1993 film followed Mitch McDear, a young Harvard Law graduate lured into a high-paying job at a Memphis law firm, only to uncover that it was a front for the Chicago mob. As Mitch's dream career spirals, he strikes a dangerous deal with the FBI, exposing the firm's illegal billing practices and narrowly escaping with his life. But years later, one lingering question remained. What happened to Mitch McDear after he vanished into witness protection? Lucas Ryder, who'd cut his teeth on Law & Order and Boston Legal, had an answer. He imagined a continuation, not a remake, but a full-on sequel that picked up the story 10 years later. Ryder pitched the idea directly to John Grisham. At first, Grisham wasn't interested. His last experience with television, The Client in 1995, had left a bad taste. But the pilot script won him over. Grisham agreed to join as executive producer. He liked the idea of revisiting the characters years later, noting that you can't run from the mafia forever. The project avoided the usual network pilot process. Instead, Sony and E1 locked in a 22-episode order from the start. They financed the series through foreign sales, international licensing, and Canadian tax credits. NBC and Global TV simply paid to license the finished show. It cost them relatively little, but gave them a polished legal thriller backed by a best-selling author and a network-seasoned showrunner. The show was set in Washington, D.C., where Mitch opens a small law firm and tries to rebuild his life. His past, however, refuses to stay buried. The mobster he helped put away is gone, but his son isn't. Meanwhile, a mysterious corporate firm named Kinross & Clark begins circling Mitch's new practice, showing an unusual interest in his clients. The show aimed to combine standalone legal cases with an overarching plot that unraveled piece by piece. Recasting the firm meant rebuilding it from the ground up. Tom Cruise wasn't returning, so the producers set out to find a new Mitch McDear, someone who could carry the story forward while anchoring a weekly legal thriller. In June 2011, Josh Lucas was cast in the lead role. Grisham later praised Lucas's performance, calling him very good in the role and noting that he brought the right charisma to carry the character 10 years on. Molly Parker was cast as Abby McDear. Around the same time, Callum Keith Rennie joined as Ray McDear, Mitch's ex-con older brother. Juliette Lewis was cast as Tammy Hemphill, Mitch's loyal secretary. Rounding out the McDear family was Natasha Callis, cast as Claire, Mitch and Abby's 10-year-old daughter. Several recurring players added weight to the supporting cast. Trisha Helfer, known for Battlestar Galactica, played Alex Clark, a senior partner at Kinross & Clark. Sean Majumder joined as Andrew Palmer, another key figure at the firm.
I'm a defense attorney. We need to talk about what happened.
Can you help my son?
That's right. I'm on to something. If I'm right, we need experts, research, backing only a major firm.
When The Firm premiered in January 2012, the reviews came in cold. Despite the recognizable title and the Grisham name attached, critics weren't impressed. The critics' consensus called it a typical, old-fashioned legal crime show that felt tedious from the first episode. Entertainment Weekly said it sometimes feels like a relic from a bygone era, and the Los Angeles Times dismissed it as just another generic courtroom drama with no spark. The San Francisco Chronicle offered one of the few sympathetic takes, praising its good old-fashioned thrills, calling the cast appealing, and saying there was a compelling storyline beneath the cliches. But even the more forgiving critics agreed that the firm felt strangely stuck in time. The audience didn't bite either. The 2-hour premiere aired on Sunday, January 8th, and drew just 6.3 million viewers in the US with a weak 1.4 rating in the key 18 to 49 demographic. That made it NBC's lowest rated drama premiere ever during a regular season, lower than the Playboy Club, which had already been canceled. The slot wasn't doing the show any favors either. NBC moved the series to its regular Thursday 10 p.m. slot the following week. The numbers immediately dropped by nearly 30%. By episode 4, viewership had plunged to 2.9 million, with a 0.8 rating in the demo. That's below the debut of The Cape, another NBC one-season drama that hadn't survived. Critics started referring to the firm as a verdict delivered, and pointed out that the show was shedding viewers faster than NBC could spin it. Even with the network contractually obligated to air all 22 episodes, it was already clear to most observers the firm was on life support. While the firm may have stumbled on air, behind the scenes it was a production defined by speed, structure, and stress. Filming took place primarily in Toronto, standing in for Washington, D.C., with some scenes shot on location in the capital for realism. Shooting started in August 2011 and didn't stop until the end of April 2012. A full 22-episode run filmed straight through with no break. Lucas Ryder served as showrunner, overseeing a writing staff that included Law and Order veterans and a former federal prosecutor. David Straighten directed the pilot, while the rest of the season was handled by a rotating team of veteran directors from both the US and Canada. But while the production stayed on budget and on schedule, not everyone on set was happy. In a candid interview, Josh Lucas described the entire experience as a very difficult one. He spoke openly about dramatic creative differences between the show's creator and the actors, and said the cast felt like the show's early potential had been lost before they even found their footing. Instead of showing up to create something they loved, Lucas said it felt like they were just trying to get through it. Lucas did highlight the bond among the cast as one of the few bright spots. He singled out Sean Majumder, calling him a great force of joy every day who helped lift spirits on an otherwise draining set. There was also legal trouble off-screen. Back in 2008, CBS had paid Lucas Ryder around $250,000 to write a script for a TV version of The Firm. They accused Ryder and E1 of breach of contract and tortious interference, claiming the NBC version was based on the work CBS had already paid for. The case never went to trial and was quietly settled or dropped, but it added another layer of strain behind the scenes before the show had even premiered. As ratings sank, NBC made a decisive move. On February 3, 2012, the network pulled The Firm from Thursday nights and moved it to Saturdays, the scheduling equivalent of sweeping a broken vase under the couch. Global TV in Canada followed suit shortly after. On paper, everything had gone according to plan, 22 episodes delivered on time and within budget. But the show behind the show told a different story, one of misalignment, frustration, and missed potential.
Offer. Congratulations. Your firm just became associated with the best litigation house in town. He works with us now. Whatever he learns, I learn.
You joined a firm.
NBC officially canceled The Firm on May 13, 2012. There was some quiet speculation about continuing the show elsewhere, but no rescue effort ever materialized. Audience response was muted. The Firm never built the kind of fan base that sparks petitions or Save Our Show campaigns. Those who stayed with it voiced support online, but it wasn't enough to change the outcome. As for John Grisham, he'd long since stepped back and viewed the project as a creative experiment. The Firm was released on DVD as the complete series, a 6-disc set distributed by Entertainment One. The Region 1 release arrived on October 16, 2012, and included all 22 episodes of the show's single season. Versions were also made available in the United Kingdom and select other territories. In addition to the DVD, the series was issued on Blu-ray, with a release reported in late 2012. So what went wrong? How did The Firm collapse in plain sight despite its connection to a best-selling novel, a hit movie, and a full-season network commitment? It wasn't just one thing. The network had its own priorities, the scheduling didn't help, and the show itself, ambitious as it was, struggled to find its footing in a crowded landscape. But for all its problems, the firm still managed to tell a good story. It expanded a familiar universe without cheap nostalgia and gave its characters something the movie never did: room to breathe. Was it perfect? No, but it was better than it ever got credit for. Next time, we're heading in a very different direction, out of the courtroom and into deep space. A fugitive, a living ship, a crew of escaped prisoners with nowhere left to run. That is the story of Farscape. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content.